Two P's. Ranjha Talks back. Today, we've got Ajmal Mushtaq. Mushtaq, say hello.
Hello, how are we?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm superb, thank you. Looking forward to some real business talk today.
Oh, you heard it, people. Today, we've got some real business talk. The big boys are talking today. So, Ajmal, thank you for having me here. And it's great to be. Do you want to start by telling me more about yourself?
My name is Ajmal Mushtaq. I'm an entrepreneur. I love business, and I think where a lot of people know me from is from TikTok. I just talk about business 24/7. That's the only thing I talk about. I'm really passionate about sharing my experiences, sharing best practices with my audience, and it seems to be doing well. I think we've had nearly 200 million views.
I've got to be honest with you. I love your content on TikTok.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it.
Yep.
A bit small things. You had a cow in your office at one point, and you were talking about milking the cow.
Yeah, exactly. Milking the cow, but at the other end, you've got to feed the cow.
This is it. This is it.
And for anyone watching, if you want to be successful for what it's worth, here's what I think. Get on social media, start creating the videos, but don't try and sell anything. That's what
Spot on.
I think that's why my accounts are doing well, because we're just sharing real good value, but we're not expecting anything in return. We're not leading you down a path to buy a book or a course or anything.
I love your content. It's quite diversified. In particular, you were talking about Celtic and why people support Celtic and why they support Palestine.
Yeah.
That was really good. And the bit about Wrigley's chewing gum, where they started off with soap.
Yep, that was a great story.
That's a great story. Do you want to share that here?
Yeah, so Wrigley's chewing gum, and this is the importance of being able to change your mind. Wrigley's used to sell soap, and the soap wasn't selling very well.
Yeah.
So he decided, with every bar of soap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also give a stick of chewing gum, because he made the chewing gum himself. The process of making chewing gum and soap is quite similar.
Yeah.
So with every bar of soap, he gave away one stick of chewing gum. Fast forward a little bit of time, and the chewing gum was more popular than the soap. So he just decided to focus on the chewing gum, and that was how Wrigley started. And now it's like a multi-billion-pound chewing gum company.
And there's no soap to be sold there at all, is there now?
No soap. So the lesson is never be afraid to change direction.
You're absolutely right. Totally agree. Ajmal, do you want to start by telling us a bit about your own background? Where did you start from? Where did your journey begin?
I've changed direction many times, but back in the early 80s, my parents, back in the 70s, my parents came to this country. I was born in 1975, brought up, like many of us, in an immigrant household where the parents were out grafting.
Right.
They didn't have the language, the experience, the finances. They only knew one way of working, and that was sheer hard graft.
Yeah.
And by default, all of the immigrant children were, we didn't have, and you can vouch for this, we didn't have the designer gear and the fancy clothes and the toys and all the presents and birthdays and holidays. We had none of that.
C&A back in the day.
Yeah.
Debenhams, yeah.
Exactly. And what that has done, I think now, fast forward many years, that hunger has just given us such an advantage, because we've got the hunger and we know what sacrifices are required in order to be successful.
Did you see your parents struggle, or how was it for them?
100% major. My dad struggled for the first 10, 15 years of his business life. And then even when things were going well, it was a struggle then. Because remember, back in the 80s, if you earned, it was below minimum wage. There was no such thing as minimum wage. It was the bare minimum salary, and all households almost had to run on 1/3 of the bare minimum salary. 1/3 would be sent back to Pakistan.
Yeah.
1/3 would be spent looking after other family members in the house.
Yes.
Because all of the new family members coming over, and then only 1/3 is left to run your little household, your mortgage payments and food, clothing for your little family. So it was tough. It was very, very tough. But I really respect my parents for their dedication and their graft, for making a success of themselves and for helping us become successful as well.
And how big a family was yourself?
Two brothers, 2 sisters. So I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, wow. So you saw your parents struggle, make sacrifices.
Yeah.
And where did your business journey begin?
So I went to school. I left school with no education. I worked in my dad's and my uncle's restaurant for 5 years. After that, I decided I want to make it in the world. So then I went back to college to get my grades in order to go to university. I went to Glasgow Uni, did 3 degrees, 1 law, 1 master's in international finance, and 1 master's in accounting. And then I got a job in London with the biggest management consultancy in the world, and I worked there for nearly a decade.
And right, okay, so you went there, you worked there. I'm guessing you must have been earning some very good money out there.
That was very good money. Straight out of university, 28,500 plus a £10,000 golden handshake. Way back then.
Yeah.
Phenomenal salary. And then the lifestyle, the jet set lifestyle, travel first class, eating the best restaurants. It was a fantastic lifestyle. Did that for nearly a decade.
So Ajmal, when you say way back then, we're the same age, aren't we?
Yep.
Yep. So yeah. So not that way back, right? But yeah. So you went there. You did the corporate job. You did quite well.
Did very well.
At what point did you get sick of it?
I think after about 5 years, I realised in a big environment, in a big corporate environment, no matter how good you are, you cannot test your skills.
Yeah.
Because there's 1,000 safety nets under you. So I thought the only way to test your business acumen is to go out there in the real world with 0 safety nets, and if you can make it there, you can call yourself an entrepreneur.
Did you get sick of the corporate world, the arse kissing and so on, so the climbing the corporate ladder? Did you get sick of that as well?
There was, I mean, I think that's part of the game.
Yeah.
You have to do that, and there's no point complaining about that if that's a game you're playing.
Yeah.
No point playing football if you're complaining about kicking a ball.
That's very true.
That is the game. So listen, I embraced it, and I enjoyed it. I moved up, I got promoted a number of times, but there was a time I just had to leave because there was a burning desire to have my own business.
That's really what it is with a lot of entrepreneurs. It's that burning desire inside of them.
Yeah, there's more.
Yeah.
And I just felt when you're working in a corporate job, you just could not fire on all cylinders. You're only allowed to go as fast as the team or the organisation.
Right, so you left the corporate job, and then what was the next move for you?
Next move, I took over my dad's tiny 30-seater restaurant. This place was tiny, right?
Right, and this was in Glasgow?
Yeah, in Glasgow. And just outside Glasgow. And within 4 days, I changed strategy. So I thought I'm going to have a chain of restaurants. But I did cash up on the very first day, on the very first Saturday, and we made £3,000, which is not bad for an evening trade.
Right, wow.
But I thought, wait a minute, have I made a mistake? I've just left a very well-paid corporate job. My wife left a very well-paid corporate job. And we've just made £3,000 on a Saturday night. That's not going to cut it by the time you pay your wages and the bills and the food cost. And I thought, right, this is limited. What can we do now? And we decided to focus on the takeaway market because that's unlimited. A 30-seater restaurant, no matter how great you are, you can only sell maybe 100 meals or 120 meals a night maximum.
Yeah.
So we decided to just focus on the takeaway market. Implemented the systems, the processes, the discipline, the customer service, brought out a 29-minute delivery guarantee, and the business just exploded. And then within 4 years, I built the biggest takeaway kitchen in Britain.
Wow. So with a lot of takeaways, the biggest bottleneck can be is all the orders seem to come at the same time, and it's getting those orders out quick enough.
Yeah.
So you expanded, I'm guessing you must have made a very big kitchen in order to...
It was the biggest kitchen in Britain. It's like an aircraft hangar of a kitchen.
Wow, right, people, you heard that.
It was featured on BBC Two Best of British Takeaways. It was featured on Channel 4, BBC One, STV, radio stations, newspapers, magazines. This kitchen was covered everywhere.
Right, how do you get the word out? Do they come to you? Do they find out about you? Or were you very good at PR?
I think it's if you're doing a great job, you've got to tell people. But naturally, when I did something on that scale, it naturally brought a lot of attention because it was never done before. Like no one builds a kitchen that size.
Yeah, absolutely
This is
right.
back in 2013, way before Deliveroo, Uber Eats, dark kitchens, way before all of that.
And what kind of food were you doing?
Indian food only.
Right.
That's it.
And what about the chefs? Because sometimes in these games, in particular, the chefs and their egos or keeping them on board. Did you ever have any kind of problems like that, or was it all different ball game with yourself?
Yeah, no. We had a major problem when I first started the business in 2009, but I fixed it straight away. I sacked the head chef the minute he stepped out of line.
Really, right.
And what that did that sent a clear message to every other chef that worked for me for the next 15 years that if you step out of line, you're not going to have a job. And the thing is it wasn't about discipline, it was about holding me to ransom.
Yeah.
And you know, like a lot of these guys do, they gather up their cliques and they tend to work against you and they call the shots. They want to get paid cash. They want picked up. They want dropped off.
Yes. Yep.
They want 101 unreasonable conditions. And we just couldn't afford that. I couldn't afford that level of attitude.
And the fact that you got rid of him
Yeah.
as soon as he stepped out of line, that kept them all in line than the rest of them.
Everyone else fell into line and they stayed in line for the next 15 years.
Wow.
Because they know if I can get rid of that chef who was like a very, very good chef, and the business he was carrying the business. If I can get rid of him, I can get rid of anyone.
And so, how did you find sourcing chefs then? Because that sometimes can be quite difficult. I'm assuming it would have been difficult up in Glasgow.
Then what I did is I stepped into the role of being a chef.
Right.
I put my management consultancy hat on and I thought, right, that dish tastes delicious. Reverse engineer it and then reconstruct it, but write down all the timings, the processes, the systems, the ingredients, when you put them in, etc. So I became the recipe holder for all of the food that was made in there. And then I made up the spice mixes and the masala for all of the food that was cooked in there for the next 15 years.
So basically it's about breaking down the processes, documenting them, and having a little process flow over there, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
So you can then train up the other chefs quite easily.
Yeah.
And that way you're controlling everything.
Yeah. And you could poach, in the peak of my business, you could poach any one of my chefs, take them to your business and say, right, cook me this type of food, and they wouldn't be able to, because I would have the secret packets put in at the certain times and no one knew what was in those secret packets. So
wow.
I held on to the intellectual property.
So what we've seen now is we've seen lots of franchises appear, and they're all effectively using the same kind of model now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Where they've documented the whole process, broken it all down, and then you can literally get someone who's not a chef, but as long as with the right kind of training, he can be banging out the right kind of food, the right kind of quality as well.
Exactly. Now there's lots of pizza franchises, there's burgers, there's chicken franchises. I've still not seen an Indian franchise, because Indian food, to cook Indian food, delicious Indian food, is very, very difficult.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so at what point did you change from Indian food, and why did you change from Indian food?
So after I think 12, 13, 14 years, whatever it was, I thought I need to expand the business, but that business I couldn't expand because it was huge. And I thought, right, we'll start. And then COVID hit, started a pizza business from the corner of the kitchen. And we were expecting the sales just to be okay. And my God, the sales, it did so much better than expected. Then the light bulb moment. We're making almost the same money from the Indian food as we are from the pizza business. But the pizza business is 1 out of 10 headache. Indian food is 10 out of 10 headache.
Gotcha.
So the pizza business was just very, very easy compared to Indian food. So we just decided to sell up everything else that we did and just focus on the pizza business.
Right, and you haven't looked back since then, I'm guessing?
No.
So is pizza easier to sell than Asian food, or is it just less headache?
It's less headache. It's still any food is very difficult to sell. I would say pizza generally is easier to sell. No one is offended by a slice of pizza. Whereas if you take a group of 10 people and say, let's go for a curry, there will always be 1 or 2 people that say, oh no, it's too spicy for me. I don't like it.
Very good point. Now, did you have a lot of competition up in Glasgow when it came to especially the curries? Because in from the north of England, the competition is absolutely ferocious over there.
The competition everywhere is fierce. We've got one road in this town, and every other shop is a takeaway from the bottom of the road all the way up to the top of the road. The competition is fierce everywhere.
Okay, so when you went into pizzas then, how was the growth there? How did you find it there?
The growth, well, we've sold nearly 100 franchises.
Wow.
We've opened up shops. We've had 3 failures already.
What happened?
And this is a key thing. We made a mistake. We just assumed that when you sell a franchise, the franchisee is going to be on board. He's going to toe the party line, do everything that you ask, and things are going to be great. Far from it. A word of warning to anyone thinking of starting a franchise business: you're basically taking your reputation, your hard work, putting it in the hands of someone else. They may or may not be as motivated as you.
Gotcha.
So we had one of our shops, one of the franchise shops that failed. I think there was an assumption that you can just hire in cheap Indian students, pay them below the minimum wage, and that's going to get the shop up and running and you're going to make loads of money. Absolutely not. I've worked in business. You need to be there, caning the standards day in, day out, for at least 18 months before the customers start to use you regularly.
Gotcha.
In the food business, customers are unforgiving. If you slip up once, that they've got 30, 40, 100 other options that they can go for. So it's very, very fickle. So
on the other hand, have you had a lot of successful franchises?
Yeah, so we've had some successes, some failures. We're very early in the journey. Remember, Boss Beats is a new company. This is a new venture for us. I think in January we've got, I'll say that again, in the next 2 months we've got 5 shops opening, and then we've got another maybe 5, 6 opening by summertime. So I think it's a little bit early to tell.
Right.
But the good news is, in that pool of franchisees, we've got ex-Domino's guys, ex-Pizza Hut guys, ex-Papa John's guys. These are the guys that understand the game, and they're going to drive the business forward. The mistake we made early on, anyone that wanted a franchise, we would sell it to them. Now the answer is no, unless they prove to us that they've got the capability and the funds and the management experience to run the business properly.
So at what point did you decide, right, okay, I'm selling pizzas, now I'm going to break into franchises?
I think that was a plan when we started off the pizza business. Within about, I think, a year, we decided, right, okay, this is relatively straightforward. We can actually start franchising this. But we then spent hundreds of thousands of pounds building the franchise model. We got in the best consultants in the country, the best lawyers, the best systems we got in place. So I spent 3 years building this solid foundation before we even started selling franchises.
Right, gotcha. Okay, and just out of curiosity, you've got me thinking now. What's the profit margin like on pizzas?
Profit margin is in line with the industry, which is 5 to 10% net profit margin.
Right. Okay.
And people are going to say, well, that's nothing. If you know about business, 5 to 10% net profit margin in any business, any sector, that's actually classified as a very good profit margin.
Okay, so of all the franchises you've currently got, who's making the most money? What kind of figures are
we wouldn't give out these figures.
Is it a lot, I'm guessing?
We just wouldn't give out figures.
Okay.
We've got to be careful in
of course.
what information we're sharing.
Right,
I can give you a story about another brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
The brand owner was telling all of the franchisee and prospects, oh, this guy's making that, this guy's making X amount, this guy's making so much money. HMRC got wind of it.
Right,
and the
yes.
franchisee wasn't declaring all of his income, and basically the franchisee has dumped the franchisor has dumped the franchisee in it. So yeah, no, we don't discuss figures.
Right, so people, this is why sometimes it's better not to talk about figures, because you can get caught out here. HMRC is watching. And they will try and turn you over every chance they can do. Right.
By the way, talking about HMRC have now got this system called Connect. They know everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They know how much you've made in Just Eat, how much you've made in Vinted. They know what kind of cars you're driving. They know how much self-assessment you're declaring, your VAT that you're paying. Well, they know all that anyway. But outside the realm, they're linked in with land registry. So HMRC know everything. So I don't think you can. The days of taking cash and hiding from the HMRC, I think those days you can't do that anymore.
They're well and truly over, because now you've got AI kicking in as well. And my background's a software background, and I know a lot about data. And they've got AI systems now that are connecting everything together at unprecedented rates. And they're catching out people quicker. You can imagine. And it's just, so largely, it's not about catching out the people who are cheating, it's about generating income for them. And they're catching out lots of people across the board. And they're bringing lots of things to light. But going forward, being an entrepreneur, how do you see AI change the landscape?
AI is going to change the landscape big time. Let me just say that again. AI is going to change the landscape big time. In our office here, we're using AI a lot. We use it to do everything. First draft gets done in AI.
Right.
It just gives you the skeleton, it gives you the ideas, then you pad it out from there. word of warning: don't use AI for the end solution. Use it to get you going. Then even our editor, for example, puts and you're doing the same. I know you're doing the same. You put these clips into AI. It will cut them all down for you. It will switch the camera to
Yes, absolutely.
and it saves you hours and hours.
Yeah.
So I think this coming year, we're hoping to save at least £100,000 worth of labour cost just by using AI.
I think the whole landscape is changing more and more. I think AI, where we're currently seeing AI, within the next 5 years, it'll be an order of magnitude better.
Oh, it's going to be, AI is going to spin off something that no one even has even dreamt of.
I think you're right, absolutely.
We're the same age, we're 50 years old. Remember in 1996, 1997, that thing called the information superhighway?
Absolutely, yes.
The World Wide Web. The only thing people could see is, this is going to be online shopping. You can sit at home and order your shopping and it's going to arrive. No one ever thought that it's going to spawn the birth of social media. And now look, social media is a major sector in business. No one thought that you could be sitting at home and you get a bill in and you just double click that little side button and you've paid the invoice. We're from the generation.
Absolutely, yeah,
you have to go to the shop, buy envelopes, write a check, buy a stamp, put it in the envelope, walk to the post box and post it. That's how we paid people back in the day. So I think AI is going to do the same. I agree with you totally. But we just have no idea how powerful or where it could lead us.
I think we're going to see big changes because of AI.
Yep.
We're going to see lots of people losing their jobs.
Yep.
I'm in my industry, software. We're going to see a whole load of jobs just gone because no one can compete with the AI system when it comes to developing some software. It can do it quickly, like that, in an instant as well. But you need fewer people just to check it and just be sure it's going down the right path. But so we're seeing a lot of that in robotics as well, automation. And now I think you've got a lot of entrepreneurs when they're looking at businesses now, they're looking, we don't know as you said, we don't know the changes that are going to occur in the next few years. It's beyond our comprehension. But they all want businesses that are AI or future proof.
Jobs are going to be lost big time, but history has taught us that when one industry dies, another one is born to take its place. So I'll give you two examples. Coal miners back in the 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. That industry is dead, and that gave rise to the service industry. And then I'll give you another example. In the 1980s, I saw a video. There were 100 women sitting, and they're all women. They were sitting in a room and they were typing out letters for the big organisations. On typewriters. And then they profiled one computer and said, this one computer is going to make all of these women redundant. And it did that.
It did, yeah.
But then from there, financial services was, really took the fore. Customer service, call centres, a new industry was born. It's the same now. Anyone working in a corporate job, if their job is going to be affected, I guarantee in 1, 2, 3, 4 years, something else will rise and all of us will be sort of tilting towards that.
Well, I'm hoping so, because otherwise I think the only other option is some sort of basic universal income.
Yeah.
That's what many politicians are talking about at the moment. But I think even with, there's certain jobs which you would think wouldn't normally go, that we'll be looking at going up. Songwriting.
Yeah.
AI systems are just much better.
Yeah, yeah.
Even sort of artwork.
Yeah.
AI systems are just much better.
Yeah, of course. Design work. Put it into ChatGPT, you get an advert made in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. A lot of the content now as well, when it's done by AI, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, but talking about content, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of your content here, people use social media for leads.
Yeah.
And it's a really good way of generating leads. What's your experience with this? How have you found it?
Yeah, our number one rule of selling is don't try and sell anything. Just put goodwill into the world and people will want to do business with you. So you've never seen any of my videos where I'm saying, come and buy a franchise from us. Come and if you want to buy a shop, come to us. We don't do that. All we do is we just put out so much goodwill and we let people decide if they want to go do a franchise. Actually, these guys look all right. They really know what they're talking about. I like their style about talking about business. I like their ethics. I like the way they conduct themselves. So that's the way we leave it at that. We let people come to us.
And in terms of my experience with social media is if you use it for any business, you can get leads for free.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing more and more. How about yourself? Do you get a lot of leads via social?
Oh, some weeks we get 60. One video that gets even a reasonable amount of views can bring in 50, 60, 70 leads
Right, wow.
from one video. And we're putting out sometimes 3 videos a day.
Right.
There's some weeks where we just can't keep up with the number of leads that we're getting. And then people are complaining, I put in a lead and no one's got back to us. No wonder we're still at, number 200 out of 600 leads or something.
So in terms of this success, how much of it has been, do you think, down to your personality and driving us forward on social media?
I think it's played a key part, I think.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's part of the overall marketing suite.
Yeah.
And I think if you're in business, you need to be on social media, you need to be on video, you need to be in front of the camera. And the great thing for every single business owner out there now is, even if you're a bit socially awkward, even if you're not very confident, as long as you're your authentic self, that's what that's what the viewers resonate with.
Yeah.
And this is we're at the dawn, this is a rise of the intellectual content creator. See the days where you would sit in a Gucci suit and flash your watch and some expensive necklace. Those days are gone.
Absolutely.
All that materialistic fake stuff. What people want now, they want real, authentic individuals. And so even if you're not great in front of the camera, as long as you're yourself, you'll resonate, you'll hit it off with the viewers.
I fully agree. I think I've always kept it quite authentic.
Yeah.
And I come from a software background. I've done a lot of work with properties and businesses, and I just keep it real.
Yeah.
I talk about what I scrimp and save.
Yeah.
Despite everything. And I think it resonates well with people.
Yeah.
And people can see bullshit for what it is, really.
Yeah.
And these days you're seeing people that they'll pay money, hire out a Lambo, climb out of it with a nice fake watch.
Yeah.
And people can see past that now.
I can see right through the bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm an expert in that. And do you know how I know? And you know this as well. The journey to success is 95% pain, hardship, stress, struggles. And see, any entrepreneur that's been through that, you talk to them, very quickly the conversation tilts towards the pain, the suffering, the hardship, the headaches, and you see the battle scars all over them.
Yeah.
But when you see all these internet gurus, you get none of that, and that's how I can tell. If you've been through the mill, you've got the scars to show for it.
Right, absolutely. So, looking back in hindsight of your career, if you were to do things differently or to start again, how would you do it differently?
That's a good question. I think I've been blessed whenever I've been in a position where it's not gone well for me, I've pivoted and changed, and it's always worked out.
Right.
So I went from leaving school to being a waiter, waiter to being a law student to being in a corporate job to Indian food restaurant, then restaurant to takeaways, now Indian takeaway to pizzas. So I've always been quite adaptable and flexible, and I think that stood me in good stead. So I've not had many periods of my life where I've really, really struggled, because the minute I realise it's not really working for me, I pivot and change.
Right, okay. What's the biggest setback you've ever had?
Biggest setback I've ever had was probably also the biggest blessing I've ever had, which is I lost all of my money at the age of 27. I had £30,000 saved up.
Right.
That was all of the money I had. I've been working since the age of 14, saved up, and I lost it all in gambling.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and the gambling was stocks and shares. It wasn't your local bookie betting on horses. I've got a master's in finance,
Right.
master's in accounting. I've worked in the city. I've worked in the London Stock Exchange. In my opinion, anyone who's trying to beat the market, do day trading, etc., you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. The only way you win in the stock market is if you play the long game.
Absolutely.
And all of these, again, there's so many guys saying, "Oh, invest short term this, short term that." That's what I was doing, and I did very well. That £30,000 went up to 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, went all the way up to £150,000, and it was a dot-com boom as well. So that carried it. And I thought, listen, I am very good at trading. I know what I'm doing. And then .com bust, lost it all. I lost £3,000 on one trade. And I'm an expert trader. I can get that back, no problem. I chased that loss, chased it to the point where I lost everything.
Oh dear.
But that taught me, that was a blessing, because that taught me the most valuable business lesson ever. I had to lose that money in order to snap out of it, because it became like an addiction.
Yes, it does, yeah.
From the minute you wake up, you switch on the teletext, you're checking the shares, you're checking the share price in Yahoo News, and you're consumed by that, like that gambling addiction. And I had to lose all of that money in order for me to snap out of it. And that was great, because since that day, every single penny I've ever made, I control it. I have no pensions, no shares, no ISAs, no NFTs, no crypto, no nothing. Every penny I've got it in the bank, in my business, or in property.
Right, wow. Now, were you doing longs and shorts and this kind of stuff on the stock market, or were you just more of a day trader? How were you doing this?
It was regular trading, maybe buy something, and you used to get, it might still be the case, you get 30 days to pay up. So it's T plus 30, you get 30 days. So I could buy £30,000 worth of shares today.
Right.
And then I'd have to pay the £30,000 within the 30 days. So what I started to do was speculate, buy a share, hopefully it goes up even by 2-3% in that 30-day window. And if it did, I would sell it. And then, which meant I didn't actually have to fork out the cash for it. But that was a bad strategy. It just ended up losing. Any which way, I think you just set yourself up for a loss. And I know many people that lost a lot of money.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of my friends who've got money invested in shares, crypto, gold, silver, property. And of that, for example, would you say if you're buying shares in, for example, I've got a friend who spent a lot of money on something called MicroStrategy shares.
Right.
You know, they're a Bitcoin treasury company.
If I'm doing shares ever again, I would just put it into the S&P 500 tracker fund and do it long term for 10 years, 15 years. I wouldn't invest shares hoping to make quick money so I can get, that doesn't work. I've not seen anyone, I've not come across anyone in my life who's a trader and who's made good money.
I think you're right. Yeah. I've known a few people who have got into the right crypto, the right company, and they've held on for a while.
Yeah.
They've seen explosive growth and thought, right, I'm getting out now.
Yeah.
And they've got out and prices still went up,
Yeah.
but at least they left there with a massive profit.
Yeah.
And you said you're now investing in property. How's that going? Where are you investing in property?
I've been investing in property for the last 20 years almost.
Right, wow.
Any spare cash I've ever had just goes straight into property.
Okay, what kind of property? Commercial property or buy-to-lets?
Commercial and residential, but for commercial, I only buy ground floor property with land, and even a lot of my flats, they're ground floor with land, because you get the land value has actually got a bit more as well. So some of my properties I've bought 8-10 properties together, commercial properties, and the land marriage value of all of those 10 properties put together is so much more than the individual value of all 10 units.
And is most of your properties are in Scotland or across the UK?
All Scotland.
All Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Concentrated in a very small area. It's just easier to manage.
How do you see the property market going forward in the next couple of years at least, especially with the new legislation coming in? Do you think it's getting harder for landlords, or how do you see it going?
It's getting a lot harder for landlords, and a lot of landlords are leaving the sector, which is good news for ordinary punters who just want to buy a house. It just means there's more stock available, but there's more bad news on the horizon. You've got companies like Lloyd's and BlackRock who are now pumping billions of pounds into the housing market. That shouldn't be allowed.
Exactly. Now, for me, this is a big worry. You've got companies like Saffron as well. So a lot of the people who are providing the mortgages are now becoming my competitors.
Yeah.
So they're becoming landlords.
Yeah.
And I'm a softie when it comes to being a landlord.
Yeah.
If I've got someone who's been a single mother, who's been a landlord, who's been a tenant of mine for a couple of years, I'm not going to ramp up the rent. You know, I'm going to take it easy because I'm going to look at it long term.
Yeah.
And The banks, the large corporations, they won't do that.
Exactly.
They'll be absolutely ruthless, and the government is always going to be nicer to them,
Yeah.
or their legislation will always be better for them
Exactly.
compared to medium-sized landlords such as myself.
I think it could even be, we could get to the point in the next 2 generations where no one in Britain owns a house. It's all owned by the corporations, and we're enslaved to the rent that they set.
That's my gut feeling of the way we're heading at the moment.
Yeah.
I think the government is so badly in debt,
Yeah.
and it's spending a lot of money. It's taxing us all heavily,
Yeah.
spending a lot of the money on debt payments
Hmm.
rather than on infrastructure or wherever it's needed.
Yeah.
And looking forward in the future, how optimistic are you about this country and the way it's all going? Be honest.
I don't think there is very much at this moment to be optimistic about. And the reason being is I think the level of taxation is just got to a point where it's going to start to break people.
We're at the stage right now.
And do you know who's to blame?
Who?
Who do you think's to blame?
I would say, well, ourselves and the government.
No.
Who, the banks?
It's the central banking system.
Yes.
I don't really understand the banking system. I've got a master's in international I've got a master's in international I've got a master's in international finance. I've worked in banking. I educate myself about banking, and I still don't understand it. And the reason for that is not because of my ability. The banking system has been designed to be as complicated as possible.
Spot on.
As complicated as possible, so you and I, regular people, we have no idea.
Fully agree.
Let me tell you something. This is one piece of paper. This is our country, Britain, right? Just got it here. There you go. I'll show that to the camera. We have just. The central bank has loaned us £10 for this country, so there's £10 on this piece of land here. This is Great Britain. But we need to pay back interest. So we need to pay back £11 plus interest, right? So I'll just write that down, right? There is only £10 in that land. There isn't £11. We can never pay £11 because we've only got £10.
Yes.
So we are forever going to be in debt. So if we want to carry on paying the monthly repayments, we're going to have to borrow more and more and more to the point we're almost at £3 trillion worth of debt in this country.
Yes, absolutely.
We are all this nonsense talk from the government. We need to reduce the deficit. We are never going to
exactly
pay off the debt.
Yes, we're never going to pay it off. Most of the European nations will never pay it off. The Americans will never pay it off. So where are we heading?
I guarantee you one thing, right? And people don't ask this question enough. They should. In Britain, we, the taxpayers, pay £10 billion in interest per month on the national debt.
Yes.
Follow the money. Whose pocket does that £10 billion end up in? That is almost criminal.
Yes.
And we are not even privy. We can't even see it's behind so much secrecy and so many layers of complexity that even a simple question like that, who gets the £10 billion? That £10 billion is going into people's pockets.
Yes.
Give me the names of those people.
They're never going to tell you. They're always going to, like you said, they're going to keep it as complicated as possible, and they're going to keep you distracted. They don't want you talking about this. They want to keep it hidden from you. This is why our country's falling apart. If it wasn't for those debt payments that we're making at the moment now, you take that out of the equation, we're up and running, everything's great, we've got money, there's money in the economy, everyone's rich, but that's what's killing us right now.
And that's why a lot of businesses, and that's why a lot of rich people are leaving Britain. Not because they necessarily want to pay less tax. They're saying, if we want to open up a business in Britain, it doesn't make sense because no one's spending money.
This is it, yes.
You're not going to be successful. And I'm in the business. I'm in the food business, and I'm telling you now, it's probably harder now than it's ever been in my lifetime.
Absolutely. So I've been running businesses all my entire life. I've never seen it so hard. It's to squeeze money out of people. It's getting harder and harder and harder. The money simply isn't there.
Exactly.
And I can't see it getting any better. And there's lots of people talking about emigrating.
Yeah.
Now, something's going to have to give up, with this current situation we've got going on.
Yeah.
This can't carry on going the way it is. Something's going to have to give. Now, I'm thinking they're either going to have to devalue the pound drastically or revalue gold or just flat out not pay this debt to, it's all in debt. Like you said, it's all done in such a way we can't really figure out who it's paid up to.
It is the central banking system, and when they show pictures of the Bank of England, I think that is the biggest extortion racket
It is.
ever.
It is.
The way it's portrayed is that is the Bank of England, and on the notes it's the Queen, it's the King, the monarchy, but behind that is a whole sort of so many layers of complexity that you and I could never understand.
Absolutely. So I think we got that with the Bank of England. In America, the Fed, it's a private company.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a private company printing their money. And they've printed far more than they say.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
And the value of that dollar should really be a lot less.
Yeah. And now we're going to move away a little bit from business, right? This is fascinating. Now they're wanting the youngsters in Britain to get ready for war against Russia.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone listening to this, the minute you hear war, understand this, that is a vehicle for taking money from ordinary poor people and putting it into the pockets of the rich. And the way it's done is we've spent, for example, America spent £6 trillion on the war on terror.
Yes.
Back in the day. That's not the question. The question is, who made £6 trillion? Those people are behind the wars. So, for example, we've spent billions and billions of pounds. We've sent it off to Ukraine in the form of weapons.
Yeah.
The weapons manufacturers have made billions of pounds, but we, the taxpayer, have to pay increased taxes to cover the cost of that.
Absolutely.
It's a racket.
Yeah, the whole thing's a racket.
Yeah.
And I think in particular it was COVID.
Yeah.
Then we had the war against Russia, I would say, Ukraine, Russia. And then we had the war on terror.
Yeah.
And it's drained the system
Yeah.
more and more and more. And I think we're at crisis level right now.
Yeah. So the word war to me means wealth transfer from poor people paying taxes, and it goes straight into the pockets of the obscenely rich weapons manufacturers who are in a multi-trillion-pound industry.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you've got weapons manufacturers. I used to work for some as well. They give good day rates to people like me, software experts, especially in Edinburgh and places like that. But they've got lots of money to spend. Yeah. And it's a great secure job, right? It's this whole economy, and everyone, the amount of wastage. I used to work for the British Army as well as a contractor, and the amount of wastage you'd see in there. And it was demoralising. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a patriotic person. I'd fight for this country. Yeah. As long as it's not a legal war. As long as it's not a sham of a war. Where it's done, and they're just making things up, really. So I think we're at that point now. It's only going to get worse. On top of that, a lot of these defence companies, they're outdated. The Chinese defence companies have overtaken them drastically. Yeah. So I think technology-wise, the Chinese are taking over. Yeah. And we're being left here further and further behind. The whole system's going to cave in at some point. This is my biggest worry.
It's going to collapse. This conversation has taken a twist from talking about happy pizzas.
Yeah, happy pizzas, yeah.
and business and entrepreneurship it's gone down a dark alleyway.
Yeah. Aliens. International bankers,
It's all linked. So business is linked to taxes, taxes are linked to wars, central banking system, the taxation we pay. Yeah, I think the whole thing will implode very, very quickly. I think within the next 10 years, even there could be a collapse.
I'm thinking maybe even less than that, perhaps 5 years. Nigel Farage was saying that he expects there to be an early general election because he thinks that the economy would become so bad that Keir Starmer would have to resign and the Labour government would collapse. Right. So even by 2027, there'd be a general election.
I'm kind of hoping Farage gets into power. Do you know why?
Why?
Because at the moment, people are pinning their hopes on reform. Yeah. Conservative have screwed up, Labour have screwed up.
Yes.
A Reform are going to save the day. I'll tell you now, the Reform are going to do nothing.
Yes.
Because see, the minute they get into power, they've still got to pay the billions of pounds of national debt. Yeah. Where are they going to get that from? We're still going to have to pay our taxes for that. It's not going to improve. They might do a few tweaks in immigration here or there, but it's not going to make any difference because they've got a huge huge mortgage payment that's crippling the entire country, and they don't have the power to do anything about that.
I think you're absolutely right. Unless they hit the point where they turn around and say, we're not paying anyone the debt back.
Yeah,
We're putting a hold on everything.
yeah,
But yet the people who hold the debt are so powerful, they don't have the power to say that to them.
exactly. And talking about Farage, I love his stance on these rubber dinghies. I've got these things called business goggles, right?
Right.
I can see money in every. I've just got this gift. I think I
Yeah.
can see money in absolutely everything that's going on. Immigrants living in 4-star hotels.
Yeah.
That's not the question we should be asking. Who's making the money from these immigrants? Who are the hoteliers that are making millions of pounds
Yes.
per month?
Yeah.
They've probably got good links in with the government to win those contracts.
This is it.
And there's probably some incentive from someone somewhere to get more people over.
Yes. Incentives, right? People, you heard that, yeah? So people are, there's a whole economy over there where I know people who have made a lot of money
Yeah.
by renting out their hotels
Right.
to the
Yeah.
government contracts.
And they're making £5 million a week. £10
Yeah,
million
yeah,
a week.
huge amounts of money.
Now imagine we've got a hotel
Yeah.
and we've got the option of making 5, 10, 15 million pound a week. We'd want as many immigrants over as possible.
Well, this is it, yeah.
We'll be paying the politicians. We'll be lobbying them to relax the rules over in
Yeah,
Ireland,
yeah.
let them through.
So, yeah, absolutely, yeah. In Manchester, where I've got some of my properties, the council were offering out contracts for this kind of thing, and I just felt like it's just me personally.
Yeah.
It'd be a certain amount of, because I know what's going on, I'd be a certain amount of betrayal. But don't get me wrong, I was still tempted.
Yeah.
If I could grab the contracts, I would have done, to be honest, yeah. But I think the system's heading for a crash at some point or another.
Yeah. And talking about immigration, my whole life we've been bombing Afghanistan,
Yes.
Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, all of North Africa, the Middle East.
Somalia.
We've been bombing the living daylights out of that entire Muslim world for 50 years. Right? We're happy to bomb them. We're happy to steal the resources.
Yes.
We're happy to sell billions and billions of pounds worth of weapons. But we don't really want the fallout.
Yes.
We don't want immigration. That doesn't work. That doesn't stack up. You see now what's happening in Gaza. The place is flattened.
Yes, absolutely. They've destroyed the place.
You just cannot live there. And in the next 1, 2, 3 years, you will see Palestinian refugees, trickling into this country and maybe parts of Europe as well. Oh no, we don't want them. But we were happy enough to sell the billions and billions of pounds worth of weapons to Israel to go ahead and drop the bombs.
The worst thing is we didn't even sell it.
Yeah.
It was giving it to them.
Yeah.
Right? So the government grants,
Yeah.
give it to Israel, keep quiet about it.
Yeah.
On top of that, the base in Cyprus, give it to Israel, keep quiet about it.
Yeah.
So because the Iranians were hitting them so hard,
Yeah.
they had nowhere to keep the planes. So they had to use their base in Cyprus because that would have been considered a part of NATO.
Right.
They would not have been able to attack there.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen now is
Let me just go back. You said something. They gave the weapons to Israel.
yes, Israel's not paying for these weapons.
Britain didn't give anything. Britain, this is what would have really
Yeah.
happened. Britain would have gone to the weapons manufacturers'
Yeah.
factories,
Yeah.
bought it
Yes.
with government money,
Yes.
sent it off, and then the government's left carrying this big bill. Oh, how do we who pays for this? We'll increase taxation
Yes.
to pay for it. So you're right in what you say, but in a roundabout way, we're paying for
We
it.
pay. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So our tax money has destroyed Palestine.
Absolutely. And on top of that, what they're going to do is everyone will be forced to leave Gaza.
Yeah.
And then they'll all be given, visas to the UK, various European nations, and that's going to be the whole way they're going to cleanse that area, ethnically cleanse that area. But I think the world's not going obviously the right way. It's going worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, something will happen to make it better. But in terms of, you were saying many people are leaving this country. Do you ever see yourself doing that?
I don't think so. I was born in this country. I consider myself part of the fabric of the business landscape. My children are happy here. My wife is happy. The grass is greener where you water it, and I'm going to choose to water the grass here in Scotland.
Many people are talking about leaving this country and going to, for example, I've been tempted, to be honest, and just to leave over here and look at maybe Saudi Arabia, maybe look at Dubai, maybe look at Oman. But I think it's that fear. this is all I know. You know, same as yourself, and there's a certain amount of loyalty I've got to this country.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave this country.
Maybe if we were 20 years younger, kids are young, maybe then we could have, but I think my kids are sort of knocking on the door of A-levels, university type ages, so I need to just make sure that they've got that good grounded education from the UK.
Right, myself, my kids are older.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they're older, more sensible than me.
Right,
Yeah, and they're all saying to they've all got their degrees in place and so on, so they're all working, and they're all saying to me, if we find a job out over there, and we, you know, if you go first, we'll come with you. And then I'm thinking, right, okay, how would I do a transfer, you know, of selling my properties over here, going over there? But then it's a case of starting a business afresh in a country where, you know, it's different rules to over here. It's a multicultural society, you know, and this country has been very good to us. It's been very good to immigrants, especially people of our generation, you know, and there's no guarantee that, I think the thing is here, if me and you were footballers or cricket players, we'd play with, you know, this country with pride.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not really going to get that over there, are you?
Yeah.
You know.
Scotland qualified for the World Cup for the first time in a generation.
Have they? Yeah.
So you're right. I'll be supporting Scotland anyway, so that'll be good. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You're right. You know, you're absolutely right. It's I think it's probably just easier and more comfortable for us to stay here. I think we're too far gone to uproot ourselves and move abroad.
Right. Okay. So apart from the property game and apart from being in obviously the food businesses, what other businesses have you sort of dabbled in or looked at?
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. I only focus on one thing, and my total focus is on Boss Pizza. And I say this all the time: one arrow cannot hit two targets.
That's a good point, though. I like that.
Whatever I do, I just do one thing, and I do it to the best of my abilities.
Right. Okay. And so, what does the future hold for yourself? How do you see things panning out?
At the moment, I am springing out of bed. I'm in love with what I do. I'm in love with the work here at Boss Pizza. We've got a great team, and I'm just excited about the future. Whatever that holds for us, I don't know, but we'll just turn up to work every day. We'll do our very best and carry on enjoying the journey. So
no matter how it pans out with the world economy, no matter how bad it gets, you're just going to turn up every day, take every day as it comes, and just carry on. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's a good approach. That's a very good approach. Right. Is there any advice you can give to the young of today? Because it's going to be much harder for them to start businesses, especially in this current environment. What advice would you give to them? Is it going to be harder? You tell them. Is it not going to be easier? I think it'll be easier. You can access the world. You can access any skill from any person anywhere in the world. Yeah. Everyone's linked to the internet. They've got their smartphones. They've got access to data, research, social media. I think now it's actually easier to do business than it's ever been. Right, gotcha. Okay. Like you set up a limited company, £15 online, 10 minutes, right? You set up an online website, GoDaddy, £3, whatever it is. Within a matter of minutes, you could actually have something set up. Right, yeah. And then get in front of the camera, start selling your product. I think it's actually easier and cheaper than it's ever been. In our day, if you wanted to start a business, you'd have to save up for years, buy a shop or rent a shop, financial commitment, big time, buy stock, then start advertising to bring customers in. Now you could just do that sitting at home on the sofa. Yeah. There's a lot. All the information's there at your fingertips, isn't there? Yeah. So you can be self-taught quite quickly. Very quickly. Yeah, but you've got to have, I think, the passion inside of you. Really, the desire's got to be there. And I think if you keep hacking away. You keep knocking away, you'll eventually get to where you want to. Exactly, and the one thing I would say, based on experience, I've built 3 businesses in my time, and each time it's taken at least 18 months just to gain a little bit of momentum. Right. Nothing happens in the first year, and the big mistake so many new entrepreneurs make is they start off really hot. Oh, this is a lot harder than I thought. Yes. And they give up within a matter of months. That you're absolutely right. That's actually happened to one of my franchisees as well. They just thought it's going to be printing millions of pounds with very little effort. It's not like that. Success in any endeavour is very, very hard. And the analogy I'll give you is, imagine I come to you and say, right, Ranj, I want to be like a bodybuilder with huge muscles, and you give me a program and you give me coaching.
and I turn back up to you and say, Ranj, this isn't working. I've been doing everything you're telling me for 3 months and I'm still not that big.
Yeah.
You're at fault. And the stuff that you're teaching me doesn't work. That's what's going on in the world. People don't understand the process takes time, and it's compound effort, week in, week out, that makes a difference. And you've got to do that for 1, 2, 3 years.
Yeah, I think you're
before
right.
you achieve success.
Yeah, it's having that ability to carry on going without seeing any results, but having faith in the process.
Yeah, and turning up when you don't want to.
Yes.
That's a key skill. Every day you should be looking to turn up, especially the days that you cannot be bothered or you just don't want to. That's what sets people apart, the winners and the losers.
I think you're absolutely spot on right there. Yeah, yeah. It's like Rocky Balboa said, it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
And that's another thing, that's a great point. Business, probably if you want to start a business, this is what you should do. Go stand in front of a mirror and just punch yourself in the mirror. 10 times a day, do that for a few weeks, and then you'll understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur, because every single day you get punched in the face.
That's true.
If it's not one thing or another thing, and there's so many different punches from so many different directions.
Yes, you're right, different angles, yeah.
Just start punching yourself and that's going to set you up for success.
Right, so 2026, round the corner now.
Yep.
How do you see things going from there? Do you think we're going to have a better, this year's not been a good year.
It's been an awful year.
Awful year. And do you think it's going to be a better year? Do you think property prices are going to move? How do you see things going? What's your insight telling you?
As long as the Labour government is in charge, I don't think it's going to get better for businesses.
Right.
And if it's not going to get better for businesses, it's not going to get better for ordinary people. And the big mistake the Labour government have made is they're on the side of the working people.
Yeah.
Rachel Reeves, we're not going to affect taxes for working people, but they're affecting the taxes for everything else, and by default, if you raise the taxes for businesses, by default, they have to increase their prices and the working people lose out. So I think this year, 2026, is going to get worse. I can't see the Labour government having the business acumen to run the economy properly.
I think you're right. I think Rachel Reeves has been an absolute disaster.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, she should never have got that job in the first place. Yeah. And I think she's been an absolute disaster. I mean, I've got some sympathy with her, but sitting in Parliament crying when you're the Chancellor, that's not good enough. And she's been a disaster.
The health secretary should be someone like a doctor who's worked in the health profession.
Yes.
The Chancellor of the Exchequer or the business secretary should be someone who's actually worked in business and they understand the nuts and bolts of business. But successive governments, what they do is they just seem to pick people at random. If the face fits, they put them in a role. Yeah. And ignoring their acumen or their skill set.
So I think this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for a slight recovery in the property market next year. Do you see that happening, or do you think it's going to be deals to be had for buyers?
I think potentially there's going to be a bit of a recovery as well, but I also think there's going to be a lot of landlords offloading their portfolios.
Yeah, that's happening.
The taxation levels are just not sustainable. So you're going to get landlords offloading their portfolios, and that might bring down the prices, make it a bit more competitive, make it a bit more affordable for youngsters wanting to get on the property ladder.
What I'm hoping to see happen now is that the American, they've gone into quantitative easing. They'll be going full on quantitative easing from next year.
Right.
So printing money.
Yeah.
And they're going to drop rates.
Yeah.
And Trump is adamant that Trump has he has his own technique.
Right.
Yeah. And he wants to fire the Fed chairman. He wants to bring someone else in who's going to drop their rates right to the floor.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford to pay the Fed the amount of money they've got. I think he's going to be forced to revalue gold.
Yeah.
So I think to a certain degree, we don't know how it's going to head, but we do know that it'll have an impact over here.
Yeah.
The rates will be forced to drop over here. There'll be forced to be some sort of a stimulus package.
Yeah.
Pump the economy to get it going.
Yeah.
But we don't know how that's going to pan out. Yeah. Fingers crossed, if interest rates drop over here, it'll have some sort of effects on the property market. But a lot of my friends are landlords, they're all selling up.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of them who are selling up the weakest part of their portfolio and trying to get into, for example, buying a block of flats or something more commercial, or trying to do more holiday lets or Airbnb type, just purely for taxation reasons.
Yeah.
And whether or not it's helping the first time buyers, I'm not really sure.
Mm.
But the job market at the moment seems to be dead.
And there's, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't recruit young people.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely not. Why should I pay someone £8 an hour when I can get someone for a little bit more, £12.50, and they've got 15 years experience? The minimum wage for youngsters should be relatively lower, and the reason for that is you should make it as easy as possible for the employers to say, you know what, I'll recruit 3, 4, 5, 6 youngsters.
Yeah.
They don't have any experience. It's going to cost us a bit of time to upskill them. The basics, even life skills, how to talk, how to email, even to do the basics. But we're happy because the wage is maybe £5, £6 an hour. But even the minimum wage for 15 or 16, 17, 18-year-olds is now getting to the point it's not affordable. And I would rather just employ someone with many more years' experience.
Right, yeah, I absolutely agree.
Because it's cheaper to employ someone who's got 10 years' experience, because there's no upskilling, that you don't have to sort of spend time training them or developing them, so they can hit the ground running.
I think spot on. That's a very, very good point there. Now, just one final question for you. In terms of your franchises, I was going through some of your videos, and how does it work? I mean, what's the process involved? Or
process is we put you through quite a rigorous interview process. If we feel you've got the business acumen, the funding, the management techniques to be successful, the understanding of the level of sacrifice required, we can offer you a franchise. And then after that, we just get the shop kitted out. Costs about 120 to 150,000. Could be more, could be less.
Right.
All depends on the size and condition of the shop. Once the shop's ready, we just send the team in, do the training, and open the doors.
right, okay, wow.
It's but I'll tell you now, it's not an easy business.
Yeah.
Every business is tough. So I don't want people watching this and thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to jump onto Boss Pizza.
Yeah.
Ajmal's great at social media.
Yeah.
His name will carry us. Absolutely not. See this face in my videos, they count for nothing.
Right.
Imagine you're sitting in Manchester with your family and you're hungry, and you phoned up your local shop, a franchise of whatever one, and they've got a great social media presence. That social media presence counts for nothing if that delivery arrives after 1 or 20 minutes in
Absolutely
Scotland.
right. Yeah.
And this is what I'm training my franchisees. Don't rely on me, on my name, because it's on you to deliver good food to the customer within 20, 25 minutes. It's got to be hot, fresh, and you've got to deliver it with a smile. And that's easier said than done.
I think spot on right. I think I spent some time over here in Glasgow where I was staying over there. There's a drive-through grill place and a drive-through dessert place there as well. And it was the ingenuity behind there. It's all their business coming, the leads, well basically it's coming from mainly from social media.
Yeah.
They've got a strong platform over there.
Yeah.
They've brought some land.
Yeah.
And they've got a drive-through going on over there. Very easy to kit out. And really it's just a trailer.
Yeah.
Done up quite nicely.
Yeah.
And nothing more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a very good concept. And they had people coming along, turning up, and I was business stalking, watching them.
Oh,
yeah. And it was doing quite well, but it's ingenuity involved. So fingers crossed. I think for businesses going forward, in particular, I think next year is going to be a tough year. Hopefully, we'll see a bit of a recovery. Hopefully, we'll see peace against Russia.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Donald Trump will pull something out.
Yeah.
But yeah, fingers crossed, we're going to have a good year next year.
I hope so. And I think, again, speaking about being adaptable, I think even our brand, we should look at ways of opening up more units cheaper. So,
Right.
for example, we can maybe, if you've got an existing restaurant or takeaway and you want to boost the sales, we could offer a low-cost package where we supply the refrigeration, the pizza topping fridge, pizza oven, and get you going from the back of your kitchen. Something like that. So I think that's potentially what we're thinking at. And for your business, whatever your business is, you should always be looking at how can you make it more efficient, more affordable, more attractive to your customers. So you've got to keep an open mind.
Spot on. Ajmal, you've been absolutely brilliant today. Thank you so much. You've given lots of valuable advice over here.
Thank you.
And keep the good work up on social media. You're inspiring a lot of people, lots of useful advice. So yeah, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's been great having
Cheers.
you.
Thank you.
Great having you here in the office.
Cheers.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And right, how was that, guys?
Yep. By the way,
The best content. do you know when you get the best content?
Go on.
Is when you say, right guys, that's us, ended, thanks very much. What we do, we never did it now.
Yeah.
We leave the cameras running. I was in a podcast on last Thursday, Your Local Entrepreneur.
Right.
And I said to him, we finished the interview and then put the mics away like that. And then he asked me a question. I thought, pull the microphone back. And that was the most interesting part of the conversation. Because the pressure's off.
Yeah.
You end up tapping into some really interesting topics. It happens quite often. So one thing that we usually do is we say cut, but we don't really cut. We carry on
you carry on going,
You get some really interesting...
feedback that way, and then curiosity and real talk, isn't it?
That one at Stephen's, the house, Steppix house, we filmed, and then the guy started asking, so how is it you do your social media? How do you get so many views? And then we had this big conversation about how we're getting millions of views, and I thought, that is actually probably the most valuable part of this whole conversation that we've had. So just a little tip for you.
No, fantastic. Cheers.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Thank you.